So what do we want to talk about short-term rentals? We had someone here
I think we need, well, yeah, what's up?
So what, do you want to talk any about it? I mean, you seem like one of the ones who are prepared.
Trying to make it work.
And trying to make it work. Well, where's your...
Are you doing Airbnb or what kind of...
Both Verbo and Airbnb, and I
Yeah.
followed all the regulations, I
Oh, so you
pay
do
the
all of that.
taxes.
What about
Where's your ground? if you don't
I'm
mind?
off of the access road, I'm
Okay,
close to
fine.
Stratton.
Okay.
So what about the wastewater permit?
Oh.
So,
Oh, that's a whole different issue. Well, that's part of what, like if you look at Killington's list, in their zoning, part of their registration is...
Well, it was permitted for so many people.
Oh, yeah.
At the
Number of
beginning.
bedrooms times
Oh,
two
yeah,
people.
they actually, for some bizarre reason, allow you to have 2 extra people. I don't
Maybe in
know.
the living room, like,
I don't know why
yeah,
they came
I
up
don't
with that
understand
in their
either.
short-term rentals, maybe because it's short-term and they're thinking the usage is off, but their zoning violates septic rules. I didn't understand why, but they were very consistent about it. So, what Julie is saying is that, you know, every house is only authorized for certain things, and we've been
Right.
seeing, there's a few online, if you go and look to the 300 to 400 that are in Winhall right now. You know, there's one up behind my house, and it says sleeps 14. Well, first, anything over 10 requires hard sprinkler systems. It's not, you can't just make a number up. Like that house,
That's just how the Swedish Ski Club got it.
the house that they're talking about, that he says sleeps 14, yeah, they might be sleeping all over the house, but it doesn't accommodate 14, the septic capacity, at the most, I know where the house is, and I didn't look in the land records, but it's easy to do. The most that house is a 4-bedroom, which means that pushing it might be 8, or in Killington would have 10. But that's pushing it, you know, even the state, when they issue a permit now, if it's a 4-bedroom house, it's like 7-person occupancy.
Right.
They don't go to the full capacity of 2 for each room, because they think, you know, the masters are 2, and then, you know, but people put bunk beds in, and then they just go crazy. And that's all well and good, it actually protects the homeowner. You know, if your septic system fails because you had all these people in there, the $35,000 fix is on you.
Yep.
You know, if people come in and you tell them they can only have 6 and they come in with 10, well, you might be able to get the 35 grand from them. Especially if you have camera, like the last guy said, he had cameras up, he rented to 6 people and they had a wedding. There were 80 people on his property. Yeah. Yeah, and he had cameras, and he called and he said, this is not acceptable.
I know some-
outside cameras, not
Yeah, of course.
inside.
I know somebody's got an Airbnb, and they had outside cameras, and they went around and they turned them all so that they couldn't see. They sent their caretaker over and said,
Oh,
listen,
sure.
because they were told there are outside cameras. It's not near a hot tub, nothing, but they turned them all so that they couldn't see. And he called up whoever takes care of his property and sent them in and said, listen, we're putting these back, otherwise you're gonna be evicted.
Yeah.
And no refund.
You know, the thing is, a lot of these are, you know, it's a weekend, so by the time you evict somebody, they're gone already.
But no, not through Airbnb it isn't. I believe
Well,
they're pretty tough, aren't they?
I just started on Airbnb maybe a year ago and I've never.
You haven't had an
any of
issue,
my rentals.
but do you live here and so that you?
No, I
Okay.
don't. I'm here all the time. If I don't have a renter, I'm here.
Okay.
The plan is to move
But-
here eventually.
But the Airbnb is really a pretty tough system. If you come in with more people than you have signed up for, and they will charge them back.
Oh, they charge them back?
Oh, absolutely.
Just gonna say, I mean, what do they do by the time they get involved?
Well,
They come up on a Friday, they leaving on a Sunday, so.
Right.
It gets charged back through Airbnb.
Well,
Oh,
it's a charge
it's
situation.
very.
Well, and you have to have it in your listing how much you're charging for extra gas.
Oh, absolutely,
If you don't have
yeah.
it, then they won't charge you.
Oh, I think the people who do
I have 2
it.
properties I do, and
Oh, okay.
it's well regulated, Airbnb.
I think actually they do a pretty good job. It's
Yeah.
just the problem is, like if somebody's advertising 14 and the house doesn't hold 14, now, and like you're saying, anything over 10, you're saying it's supposed to
Oh,
have a
yeah.
sprinkler system.
Fire and safety would require is, yes.
So that's a whole different ballgame. That will, if we start enforcing the regulations that are in the zoning, that would change that rental, because they would, if you want to advertise 14, where's the sprinkler?
Yeah.
You know, in fact, one of the things I noticed in Killington's is that they only go up to 8. anything, if you have a house that like sleeps more than that, that's not allowed in Airbnb. It's a different zone, and they let that remain residential.
It's a different grouping.
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah, so there's a lot of different.
It's a very
This is a big-
controversial situation. We haven't got our heads totally wrapped around it. We're trying to get, I mean, we've got people coming in and say, oh, well, you gotta just do something. Well, it's not quite that easy. 'Cause
So the people that,
we can't just throw a ordinance out there and have it wrong and then have to go through another year's worth of work to take it out.
Our
We have to reach it.
intention is not to stop
Right.
short-term rentals.
manage
Just
it.
so you know, like,
Okay.
that is not the intention.
no, it's to
No.
regulate. You can look, Marcel's been working on it, he's the planning commission chair for 2 years.
Yep,
On the planning commission website at winhall.org, there's a list of short-term rental considerations that he's been working
we
on.
have a policy on that.
It's a policy type.
So we're
Not
trying, we're
really.
trying to get our heads wrapped around and trying to come up with a set of rules that will work that aren't too restrictive. I mean, we're not trying to be Nazis about it, we're trying to make it work so that it is fair to everyone. And-
So the problem is that we've gotten a series, I don't know, 3 or 4 email complaints from people who said, no, I've been here 30 years. I come to Vermont to be quiet, enjoy the trees and the woods, and all of a sudden there's parties going on next to me, and there's 8 cars in this driveway, and
Which everyone could have driven their own car.
yeah.
I mean, that we don't have any control
Yeah,
over that,
but-
and we don't have the manpower to go and check it. nor
We
should-
do
nor
have
should we.
noise, we do have noise ordinances, so if it's after 10 o'clock and somebody's being ruckus, they can call the police, and the police will address it. I don't think there's been any issue with the police saying we not.
No, they go if
They'll
it's
respond to that.
if it's a public nuisance and, the music's blaring but I mean, you can't stop them from sitting around the fire and talking, but it's just if they got the music blaring so loud, I mean, which is what was happening at Marcel's. He was having a problem.
Yeah, I know.
Where they were blaring the music so loud that they couldn't sleep. That's a bit of an inconvenience.
Of course,
And
yeah.
so we're just trying to get our head around it. It's not,
What
it's
happens
not an
often,
easy
because the
thing.
Airbnbs tend to
Would
be
houses on the access road
a group
be
of
able
people
to
coming
tap
up to
into
have
the
like a
sewer?
quick weekend party. And,
If they pay
especially
for
this
it?
time
It
of year,
depends
maybe
on where
it's
they
different
are.
during the ski
There's a
season, they might be coming up just to
possibility.
go
That would be-
skiing.
That would
And
be
they're
the
not
whole
doing as much
thing
crazy
we have to
stuff, but
address.
now it's,
Yeah.
and COVID was on, so there was, college kids that weren't in college yet, and they were just coming up to have a 3-day party.
And
See,
spread
COVID
COVID
raised
around.
Are you on a
Maybe
private,
it's
are you on your
a
private septic system, or do you?
Private septic,
Okay.
yeah.
So Julie just asked you a question, if we get this project going, so we get sewage, pumped up to the station, I don't know if this Stratton Winhall Sewer District would be willing to allow houses that are near the access road to tap onto it,
Oh, even as we come down? I mean, there's not
as
that
we
many.
go up.
Yeah, there's not no down.
So anyways, it's a good
There's
thought.
not that many, what is
but
it, half a dozen?
There aren't that many that are real close to it.
Isn't close enough for. okay.
No, but if you have an old septic system, I mean, and you could go onto town septic.
Well, I mean, that's what happened up at the top of West Ridge Road.
Right,
The
yeah, went on.
snowpack put in order to build his house. He brought the Winhall Stratton Fire District line up through the forest lands, up to the road on West Ridge, and the agreement was you have to build this with enough capacity for the other homes on the road.
And that,
And he did,
yeah,
and now
and
people
Floyd did
are
all
hooking in.
that. Yeah,
And now people are hooking in, but that's probably not big.
Yeah, I don't know,
Anyway.
that's
I mean,
another
it only
one.
helped one
benefit.
few houses.
Okay, yeah, the only thing I would say about the short-term rentals is I feel like they bring a lot of money into the area. All the people I have to pay, the trash, the lawn, the.
What do you do about trash? That's one of our issues.